This week, we're gonna break down the strip down of the Steam Deck, plus we got a little bit more to talk about with the Switch OLED. So let's just go ahead together as a people and check it out. And welcome to another sensational Sunday. I'm Mike. We're here to talk about Valve. So Valve put out an instructional video. Basically, well, they claim it's not instructional. They actually warn you not to do this, but basically they take apart the Steam Deck. And this is really the first time that you get a look on what's going on inside the Steam Deck. So I was extra curious. And the main reason I was curious really was because I pre-ordered the $400 version. And then I was like, well, if that drive isn't that upgradable, then I'm going to be stuck with the slower memory versus having the faster SSD memory. So I kind of wanted to know out of curiosity. They do go over two things in the video, and that is replacing the joystick and swapping out the SSD. So I was like, yay. First, they take apart the back part. Is like super easy. There's only 6 screws. Like, I've seen laptops, I've worked with laptops where it's taken me like a half an hour to take apart between all the screws and latches and everything. And this seems super easy. They did warn that taking the system apart and putting it back together is going to reduce its integrity, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Like, they strongly encourage people not to do this, but obviously they want to put the information out there so that way people have it if they need to take the system apart for whatever reason, or just so like repair shops have it. So that way maybe they can just order the parts from Valve and repair it for a person, like a laptop repair shop locally, instead of someone having to send it off and get it fixed. So it's good that this information is out there. So after that, after you pull off the back, as far as replacing the joysticks, it's super easy. It's like 3 screws and you just pull out the whole assembly. Now, I don't know as far as the rest of the assembly, like if you could buy like the individual parts, like just like the cover of the joystick, or they're just going to sell the whole assembly. They did say the parts would be available and they'd have more information about parts availability in the future. So I'm just wondering if that's going to be something that's doable. Like, are you going to be able to just order like the stick, or do you have to order the whole stick assembly, like if you break it or something? But yeah, that part seems super easy. And then if you think about, in contrast to like the Nintendo Switch that has this Joy-Con drift issue, this seems like a better solution. Now, the Switch Lite especially was always a worry to me. That was part of the reason why I got rid of it, because I heard that it was still suffering from that drift issue. I've already experienced Joy-Con drift on my launch Switch, and we just ended up buying new Joy-Cons because once it starts happening, it's pretty much unusable. Like, the controls are just kind of borked, because like most of the time if you're moving in the game, you're just gonna be moving by yourself, so you really can't use it. Now, Nintendo did come out recently, because they were asked about this. They said that they're working on improving the Joy-Cons, and the version of the thumbsticks that are in the Switch Lite or on the newer Switches aren't even the same ones that are in the original. Now, they did say that joysticks are always going to wear down, which is true, but they are working on improving it. So I'm not trying to give Nintendo crap here, but it's been a real issue and it really sucks. So to have an all-in-one device like the Steam Deck versus something like a Switch Lite, which isn't easily fixable if that issue happens, and then you're kind of at the mercy of Nintendo or doing a very risky repair, it's just nice that if you buy the Steam Deck, then you know it's easy to repair. And if you don't want to repair it, you could probably just take it to a repair shop and they can order their part and do it for you. So that's pretty awesome. Now, swapping the SSD was a little bit more complicated in the video because you have to remove the top part of the cooling system. So there's like 4 screws that you have to remove. They warn that you should unplug the battery before you do anything. So that's important too. But it looked like there was a little bit of thermal paste up there. So I was wondering, when they took it off and they put everything back together, I'm like, should you replace that thermal paste? Because generally, like if you're dealing with a CPU or a GPU, if you take the cooler off, you want to replace that thermal paste or thermal compound when you put it back on. But it might be something different. I'm not sure. I was kind of wondering about that. But you take off the cooling system after the 4 screws, and then basically the SSD is right there. It's one of the little ones. So they did warn about replacing it with just any off-the-shelf one, because they said they picked one that had the thermal performance that they wanted, and also it didn't interfere with their wireless and Bluetooth module, which are very close to it. So they said if you pick a different one, it might affect thermal performance and wireless performance. So that's also an important factor when upgrading the SSD. But if they make their first party SSDs available like as a part, then I wouldn't mind just go ahead and, in the future, possibly getting like a 512 gig one. Of course, they recommend just using the SD card slot, which, it's fine, but it's not going to be as fast as an NVMe SSD. I'm just going to say that. So I personally will probably upgrade to an SSD eventually after I get this thing. Probably not right off the bat, because usually before I take things apart, I like to have it for a little bit, just enjoy it as it is and see if the upgrade is necessary. But it's great that you can basically upgrade it like it's a off-the-shelf SSD. The thing that I'm curious about too with the upgradability in the future is, like, let's say they come out with the newer version of the Steam Deck in the future with faster hardware, because I mean, it's basically a laptop, so there's always going to be a faster processor that's probably more efficient that comes out in a few years. So you would assume, as long as this product does well, that they release an upgraded version. I'm wondering if they'll use the same housing and then make the board available for the new version. I don't think they will, but that's like wishful thinking. But that'd be kind of cool if they did that. Like, you could just upgrade your own Steam Deck with a new board, and then you have the new version of it. I don't think that'll happen though. But overall, it's great to see that Valve is so focused on repairability and reducing waste, because it really does. It reduces waste. If you can repair something, then someone's less likely to throw it away, or it's less likely to end up in the landfill. So I just hope that they follow through with making the parts available and making it an easy process if this thing does need to be repaired. Now, switching gears, the Steam Deck wasn't the only handheld I want to talk about today. I want to talk a little bit about the Switch OLED. So it's kind of funny, if you go back to the launch of the original Switch, I actually thought about this a little bit when they announced the Switch OLED, but I remember that it was kind of a thing. It wasn't like a huge thing, but the Switch had a plastic screen, and so does the Switch Lite, by the way. So they both have plastic screens, and that is on purpose, because if it's plastic and it's a soft screen, if you drop it, it's not going to shatter because it's plastic. They're like, yeah, it'll scratch easy, but it's really not going to shatter. So the Switch OLED doesn't have a plastic screen. So what Nintendo has done is they've pre-installed a screen protector on the Switch OLED, and that's basically so that way if you drop it and it shatters, it'll shatter and kind of stay behind that screen protector. So they're recommending not to remove it. It's kind of similar to the Galaxy Fold, if you remember that whole debacle with it, where it shipped with the screen protector. Not shipped, it went out to reviewers with the screen protector, and some people removed it and broke the screen. It's not going to be that extreme. I'm pretty sure the screen won't break, but they're recommending not to remove it for that reason. And you can install another screen protector on top of the screen protector. So basically it's like screen protector inception. Like, you can do that with the Switch OLED. So I thought that was interesting. I was kind of wondering how they were going to deal with that, or if they were going to use a glass screen since it was OLED. So yeah, they are using the glass screen, but it's got a screen protector on it. And please, please do not remove the screen protector, okay? It's important. All right, you drop that thing, it's going to explode all over the place. But yeah, I'm usually a huge proponent of like the glass style, like the plastic screen protectors, because if you drop it, they'll usually break and your screen will be fine. That's what I always use on my phone and even on my Switch. So that's just me personally. But yeah, that's gonna bring today's video to a conclusion. Let me know what you think about the Steam Deck breakdown and the repairability. If you haven't seen the video, it's in the description under the references section. But I suggest going to watch the video. It's really interesting, and it's only like 5 minutes long. If you're a nerd who likes to just look at the inside of things, it's cool. Like, I enjoyed it. I've watched it several times already. But if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you get notified when I drop a video. Tell a friend, tell a coworker, and always do at least 2 things at the same time. Peace.